Imagine a massive liquid-cooled supercomputer bolted to the side of your house, quietly automating away your neighbor's corporate desk job.
Which is, I mean, a pretty wild image to start the day with.
Oh, absolutely. Welcome to episode 498 of the AI Brief. I am Amin, and alongside me is Leah. We are doing a deep dive into a massive shift in the technology landscape today.
We really are. We are looking at, OpenAI fast-tracking a brand new Pocket AI agent.
Plus, Anthropic basically conquering Wall Street with highly specialized finance agents. And we will get into that truly wild plan to attach enterprise-grade AI data centers directly to the exterior walls of residential homes.
Because what we are witnessing today is artificial intelligence rapidly breaking out of browser windows. It is no longer just, text on a screen.
Right, this technology is embedding itself right into the physical world.
It is moving straight into our phones, integrating into massive corporate workflows, and literally attaching itself to the infrastructure of our houses.
So I think the push into physical hardware is really where we need to start, specifically what is happening right in our pockets.
Which is moving a lot faster than anyone anticipated.
It really is. We have this new report from supply chain analyst Ming-Chi Kuo, and according to the data, OpenAI is accelerating the development of its very first AI phone, pushing for mass production in the first half of 2027.
I mean, that is a full year earlier than anyone in the industry expected them to move.
Exactly. And it appears this accelerated timeline is being driven heavily by OpenAI's IPO ambitions. Having a strong proprietary hardware play just makes for a much more compelling pitch to Wall Street investors.
Especially with the rising competition in the dedicated AI phone space. But moving hardware production up by a full 12 months is a monumental task.
Oh, I cannot even imagine the headache.
The supply chain logistics alone are incredibly unforgiving. You cannot just write a software patch if a physical camera lens is manufactured incorrectly. You are just stuck with millions of broken units.
And the physical specifications they are targeting are incredibly specific here. The report anticipates 30 million shipments between 2027 and 2028.
That is a huge initial run.
It is. MediaTek is positioned to be the sole chip supplier, and they are utilizing dual AI processors. The hardware is also heavily focused on an enhanced image signal processor that features a really advanced HDR pipeline.
Which is essential for real-world visual sensing.
But honestly, I have a fundamental question here. I do not entirely get why OpenAI needs to build a physical phone from scratch. Almost everyone listening to this already has the ChatGPT app on their iPhone or Android.
That is true, but an app is very different from a native system.
Right, and what happened to that highly secretive device OpenAI has been building with Jony Ive's startup, I.O.? Last year, they made a massive deal about building ambient technology that goes beyond screens. Are these two projects actually the same device? Or is OpenAI cannibalizing its own partnership to build a traditional smartphone?
It really comes down to the fundamental requirements of building a true AI agent rather than just a chatbot. To create an agentic phone that operates seamlessly, you have to control both the hardware and the operating system.
So you cannot just rely on Apple's sandbox.
Exactly. An agent needs to actually take actions for you, navigate your other apps, and see the world exactly as you see it. If you are just an app running on iOS, you are constantly bottlenecked by Apple's permissions, their security layers, and frankly, their competing AI models.
That makes sense.
By moving to create their own phone with MediaTek, OpenAI is ensuring they control the entire stack. Whether the Jony Ive device pivots to become this exact phone or remains a separate ambient project, the end goal is vertical integration.
So it is about removing the middleman. But let's break down those hardware specs because they sound incredibly dense. Why does a phone need dual AI processors and an advanced HDR pipeline just to run an AI assistant?
Think of it like trying to rub your belly and pat your head at the exact same time, but at superhuman speeds. Right now, most single processors struggle to handle complex vision tasks and language tasks simultaneously.
So they sort of trip over themselves.
Precisely. If the AI is actively watching a live video feed of your environment, it will stutter when trying to process a complex voice command. Dual processors allow the device to dedicate one chip entirely to vision and the other entirely to language.
Meaning it can walk and chew gum at the same time.
Yes. And as for the HDR pipeline and the image signal processor, you have to remember standard smartphone cameras are designed to take pretty snapshots for social media.
They are not built for constant observation.
Exactly. An AI agent needs a continuous, unblinking stream of reality. The image signal processor translates raw light into a data format the AI understands instantly. And the HDR, or high dynamic range pipeline, acts kind of like a pair of high-tech sunglasses.
Oh, so it stops the camera from getting watched out.
Right. It ensures the AI is never blinded by a bright sun or left completely in the dark and shadows, allowing it to maintain high-fidelity visual sensing of the real world at all times.
That is fascinating. But, while OpenAI is pouring resources into putting an agent in everyone's pocket, Anthropic is taking an entirely different route. They are not focused on consumer hardware at all.
No, they are looking straight at the enterprise level.
Exactly. They're deploying their agents straight onto Wall Street. Anthropic just released 10 ready-to-run AI agents specifically built for financial services and the insurance industry.
And we are not talking about generic chatbots that can write an email here.
Not at all. These are agents engineered to handle highly complex, heavily regulated tasks like building corporate pitch books, screening Know Your Customer files, and reviewing complex corporate earnings and valuations.
They are tackling the really heavy administrative lifting.
Right. They run as plugins directly in Claude Cowork, Claude Code, or as managed agents on the Anthropic platform. But again, I have to play devil's advocate here. Claude is already incredibly smart. Why does a bank need a highly specialized, prepackaged finance agent when they could just upload a spreadsheet to the standard Claude model?
It is the difference between hiring a specialized corporate tax attorney versus asking a general library clerk for legal advice.
Okay, that is a great analogy.
A general AI model, even a brilliant one, has to guess at the specific formatting, compliance rules, and risk models of a particular financial firm. It requires massive amounts of complex prompting from the user to get it right.
Which takes time and leaves room for human error.
Exactly. By utilizing a domain-by-domain strategy, Anthropic is doing all that heavy lifting up front. They tackled software development, then cybersecurity, then design, and now they are targeting finance.
So they are meeting businesses exactly where their operational bottlenecks actually are, and they are backing up this strategy with serious capital. Anthropic announced a new $1.5 billion joint venture with several Wall Street giants to reinforce this push.
And they are providing more than just the baseline intelligence with this deal.
Right. They are providing the actual data pipes. These new agents integrate directly with data connectors from massive financial institutions like Dun & Bradstreet, Verisk, and IBISWorld.
Those data connectors are the absolute secret sauce for enterprise adoption. I mean, a highly intelligent finance agent is completely useless if it cannot securely access real-time market data or an insurance firm's proprietary, highly classified risk models.
Because security is everything in that sector.
100%. By pre-packaging these specific data connectors, Anthropic allows firms to plug these agents directly into their own internal pipelines without compromising security. This hyper-specialized enterprise-first approach significantly lowers the barrier to entry for massive corporations.
Which is exactly how Anthropic is fueling its race against OpenAI. They are embedding themselves into the core infrastructure of the global economy. But there is a massive elephant in the room here with all of this.
The power grid.
Exactly. Whether you are running 30 million pocket agents for consumers or a Wall Street firm's automated analyst, you eventually hit a physical ceiling. These agents require an astronomical amount of compute power.
Which means they require massive amounts of electricity.
Right. Centralized data centers are drawing immense power, and local grids simply cannot keep up. That brings us to a truly wild new solution. A California startup called Span is teaming up with NVIDIA to install mini AI data centers on the exterior walls of residential homes and small businesses.
They want to tap directly into the unused electrical capacity on local neighborhood grids.
It is essentially turning suburban neighborhoods into a decentralized, silent supercomputer.
Because the physical infrastructure required to power the AI revolution is just hitting a brick wall right now. Tech companies cannot build massive 100-megawatt facilities fast enough.
And even when they do, the local municipalities often block them because they strain the local power grid to the breaking point.
So Span is looking at millions of suburban homes and seeing a massive, untapped, distributed power network.
Span's solution is a piece of hardware called an XFRA compute node. It mounts right on the side of a house, integrating alongside the home's existing HVAC and electrical systems.
That is such a wild concept.
Inside this box, NVIDIA is providing liquid-cooled RTX PRO 6000 Blackwell Server Edition GPUs. But let's be real for a second. Enterprise-grade server racks usually sound like commercial jet engines. How is it possible to mount a massive heat-generating server on the side of a residential home without it vibrating the walls or deafening the neighbors?
That is where the liquid cooling technology comes into play. Traditional data centers use massive high-speed fans to blow cold air across the computer chips.
Which generates that deafening high-pitched scream.
Exactly. Liquid cooling works much more like the radiator in a car. It pumps a specialized fluid directly over the hottest components to absorb the heat, and then moves that heated fluid away to be cooled silently. Because the XFRA node utilizes this advanced liquid cooling, the entire computing process is effectively noiseless.
The economics behind this decentralized model are what make it truly disruptive. Span claims they can install 8,000 of these XFRA units across a city 6 times faster and at 1/5 the cost of building a single traditional centralized data facility.
And they're not just theorizing about this either.
No, they are already running active tests with Polta Group, which is one of the largest home builders in the United States, to see how the economics actually play out in newly built residential communities.
But the public acceptance factor feels like an insurmountable hurdle here.
That is my biggest question. People already argue with their local homeowners associations over the color of a mailbox. Will the public actually accept having an enterprise-grade AI server mounted right next to their patio or on the wall where their kids play in the yard?
That is the ultimate caveat. You are placing highly expensive, heat-generating enterprise hardware directly into residential spaces. Even if it is completely noiseless, the optics of hosting a piece of the global AI grid on your family home might be a very tough sell.
It is a massive psychological barrier.
It represents a fascinating trade-off, though. Will homeowners accept this hardware if it subsidizes their mortgage or drastically lowers their monthly electricity bill?
That financial incentive might just change some minds.
It is a gamble, especially when tech giants are simultaneously exploring putting data centers deep in the ocean or up in space to avoid these exact real estate issues.
Let's zoom out and look at everything else happening in AI today. Over to you for the roundup.
We have several major developments to cover. First, the AI research lab, Subquadratic, announced a massive breakthrough in processing efficiency. They released SubQ, which they claim is the world's first fully subquadratic frontier model.
Okay, what does that actually mean for the computing cost?
Well, usually computing cost scales quadratically with the amount of information you feed the AI. If you double the size of the document, the computing power required goes up by a factor of 4. It becomes exponentially slower and more expensive. A subquadratic model fundamentally changes that math, requiring 1,000 times less compute than rival models.
That is a staggering reduction.
They achieved this using a sparse attention design. Imagine reading a dense murder mystery. Instead of rereading every single page of the book every time a new clue is found, a sparse attention model only checks the specific chapters where the suspects were mentioned.
Oh, that makes perfect sense.
Because of this efficiency, SubQ boasts a 12 million token context window. Theoretically, this allows an AI agent to work continuously on a highly complex task for Rex without its memory degrading or the computing costs bankrupting the user.
A 12 million token window is just massive.
Next, OpenAI has officially made GPT 5.5 Instant the new default model for all ChatGPT users. The standout metric here is reliability. In high-stakes domains like medicine, law, and finance, GPT 5.5 Instant produces 52.5% fewer hallucinated claims compared to its predecessor.
That is a huge leap for enterprise trust.
The finance agent wars are also heating up by the hour. Just hours after Anthropic announced their specialized finance tools, Perplexity countered. They equipped their Perplexity computer with 35 specific finance workflows, complete with their own licensed data integration to compete directly for those Wall Street contracts.
It is a total arms race right now.
On the enterprise software side, Microsoft has expanded its Copilot Cowork agentic system to iOS and Android. This brings built-in skills and data plugins for business systems directly to mobile devices.
Letting you execute complex corporate workflows from a phone.
Exactly. In legal news, Apple agreed to a $250 million settlement for United States iPhone buyers. This stems from a major class action lawsuit over misleading claims regarding its Siri AI capabilities.
Because the marketing promised a lot more than it delivered.
Right. It promised a highly intelligent assistant, but the reality was often a basic rules-based voice trigger that failed to execute complex commands. As is standard in these corporate cases, Apple admitted no wrongdoing in the settlement.
Naturally.
In infrastructure news, Anthropic has reportedly committed to spending a staggering $200 billion on Google's cloud computing and proprietary chips over the next 5 years. This single commitment now makes up more than 40% of Google's total revenue backlog.
200 billion is almost hard to comprehend.
Finally, we have a stark look at the very real human impact of these rapid advancements. Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong announced the company is cutting 14% of its total workforce. That is roughly 700 people losing their jobs.
Wow.
Management stated the company is explicitly shifting toward AI-native teams, heavily relying on agent-driven workflows to maintain leaner operations.
It is incredibly jarring to hear those updates back to back. When you look at the technical leaps, like a 12 million token window that lets an agent work autonomously for weeks, or Anthropic and Perplexity rolling out ready-to-use finance workflows,
It all connects.
it connects directly to that final piece of news. We are no longer talking about abstract future concepts. There is a direct, immediate line between those software breakthroughs and the massive human impact of a company like Coinbase cutting 700 people simply because they can now rely on those exact agent-driven workflows to do the heavy lifting.
It is happening right now, in real time.
Let's bring this macro industry news down to practical software you can actually use to your advantage today. Here are the trending AI tools you should know about, exactly how you can apply them. First up is Columns. If you ever stared at a messy spreadsheet with thousands of rows of unformatted data, Columns automates that entirely, instantly turning that clean data into visual storytelling and presentation-ready charts.
Which is a huge time saver for reporting.
Absolutely. Next is Intellimo. This is a tool that turns simple text prompts into high-quality, story-driven videos, perfect for creating marketing assets without a full production team. Then there is Demi. This is built specifically for sales professionals. Instead of spending hours managing your inbox, Demi acts like a dedicated assistant to automate your emails, handle your complex scheduling, and actively prioritize your deals based on the likelihood of closing.
An automated sales assistant is incredibly powerful.
We also have Agentcadia. This is a platform for discovering, evaluating, and publishing ready-to-use OpenClaw AI agents. It allows you to find specialized AI workers for incredibly niche tasks without having to code them yourself. And then Box Automate allows you to orchestrate those complex agentic workflows securely and at scale, ensuring all these different AI agents can communicate without breaking compliance rules.
That is the orchestration piece that makes it all work together.
Exactly. Camelli helps you build highly specific, product-focused campaigns utilizing Google's AI marketing tools, optimizing your ad spend automatically. Uni 1.1 is Luma's new near-frontier AI for highly advanced image generation and editing. And finally, Astrocade, which is a platform that lets you create and share your own fully playable video games using AI generation, completely removing the need to know how to code physics or graphics.
What really stands out about this list is the sheer accessibility of enterprise-grade automation. I mean, tools like Demi and Agentcadia are providing individuals with the exact same kind of agentic workflows that massive corporations are using right now to restructure their entire operations.
It really levels the playing field.
The profound capabilities that are disrupting massive industries at the macro level are now sitting right there in your browser for you to adopt on an individual level. You can effectively run a one-person operation with the output of a Fortune 500 team.
I want to leave you with one final provocative thought to ponder today. Consider the ultimate irony of where this technology is currently heading. We might very soon find ourselves living in a reality where the liquid-cooled NVIDIA server, strapped to the outside of your house by span, is quietly providing the compute power for the exact same Anthropic financial agent that just automated away your desk job at Coinbase. The physical infrastructure of your own home could literally be powering the replacement of your livelihood. Make sure you follow and share this deep dive to stay ahead of the curve as all of this unfolds. See you in the next episode.
See you in the next episode.